gigantic?
Yeah.
You see that C on his chest. Don't play my
big,
boy.
Not even like big, like gigantic.
I think it's a gigantic deal for a couple reasons. One, I would suggest I'm a historian of the Eagles defense. Yeah. One, I was a part of it. I don't know if anybody else on national television can say that, but I just know the Eagles defense because before I was a part of the Eagles defense, I loved the Eagles defense, dating back to the Ryan eras. The Eagles' most consistently inconsistent position has been cornerback. Back before they overpaid Nnamdi Asomugha.
Nnamdi.
Then Nnamdi out the door. And then we was trying to figure out cornerbacks then.
Asante left.
Asante's gone by then. Asante's long gone. Sure, but Asante's long gone. Then you overpay Nnamdi, and shout out to Nnamdi, but that didn't work out. Then you're in cornerback confusion and purgatory. Then we acquire Kerry Williams on the heels of Kerry Williams winning a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens in 2012. Kerry Williams was solid, but the opposite corner, Bradley Fletcher, couldn't really figure that out. Then the Eagles overpay Byron Maxwell. If you remember Byron Maxwell, formerly of the Legion of Boom. Byron Maxwell, he underperforms. Yeah, then the Eagles try to figure things out with the Green Goblin, the man known as Jalen Mills, and shout out Ronald Darby. They started the year the Eagles win the Super Bowl, but obviously they did not stay in Philadelphia for a long time. Then finally you get a person named Darius Slay.
Yeah. Locked down.
And he stabilizes the most consistently inconsistent position on the Eagles defense over the last 2 decades at cornerback. All pro, multiple Pro Bowls, etc. And now when you lose Darius Slay, here's why it's a big deal. Because now you might end up losing 2 starters on defense. Because if you lose Slay, that's 1 starter at cornerback. If you take Cooper DeJean and move him from nickel to cornerback, now you lost your starting nickel. And please keep in mind, nickel and corner are 2 completely different positions that require 2 completely different skill sets.
Can Cooper play corner?
Maybe.
Okay.
I can't say yes right now because when you play corner,
leave him where you at, man.
That part.
I don't know if you put him in corner.
Part.
Right?
And I agree with everybody. Leave DeJean where he's at because if you move your nickel to corner, now you're seeing Jamar Chase. Now you're seeing Justin Jefferson. Now you're seeing Mike Evans. Now you're seeing CeeDee Lamb. At nickel, you see Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, he legit
Exhale.
slot merchant.
But that's it.
All right. I lasted as long as I could. I really am trying to do more clips from the facility, but it's a little hard. I'll be really honest with y'all. I'll be really honest with you. Gosh, I've never seen someone who's so insecure about their own personal playing background and stuff, where he has to be like, you know, I'm the only public national person on TV who couldn't say that I was actually part of the Philadelphia Eagles defense. It's like, all right, bro, relax. You know how many other players throughout the NFL who are in the media who are Hall of Famers, who have conquered, who have had such amazing careers, and they don't even say that. They don't say anything at all. They don't talk about, they don't make those types of statements. And again, it's impressive. You made it to the NFL. Even if you just make it to the practice squad, it's still more than 99% of people out there. Just being invited to a camp, just even having a conversation with an NFL team, just playing D1 football, D2, D3. It's all actually legitimately impressive. It really is. It really is. But just like the insecurity of it, especially when you're next to someone like a Shady or something, like it's just, I'm sorry, man, it just hits so inauthentic. And then you're going out there saying all this type of stuff, like you're talking about things that happened, over a decade ago or more, and it's just like that has nothing to do with anything. That has nothing to do with anything today. I mean, that is like, if this was a court of law, the judge would stop. Seriously, they would stop and say, that has nothing to do with anything. What are you talking about right now? This has nothing to do with anything. State your point right now, or we're done. So it's just a whole bunch of fluff and nonsense. Is it a big deal or no deal that Slay left? It's a deal. It's not a big deal and it's not no deal. It's a deal. It's a thing. Because I actually think more than Darius Slay on the field, it's more about actually his leadership. I think he was a sneaky, great leader. Big time. And culture. Darius Slay, over the years, have given a few weird interviews that I think gave him the perception of, being a little cocky, a little conceited, little over the top. He gave one interview where he and he was like being serious, where he was just like, call me big play Slay, call me big play Slay. Like, and it just came off as weird, honestly, and a little, ego driven. But you can see that he's matured so much. And I think he did an awesome job with those young defenders, with the rookies and whatnot. And he was comfortable being himself, and he showed that these other players that they can be themselves. Like we've referred to them as his children and this and that. And I had some jokes about, being in the sun and not out of the sun, and just stuff that younger people, especially guys who are entering the NFL, who everybody just wants to kind of pretend to be something that they're not, especially from a personality. Everybody always wants to act like they're tougher, stronger, bigger, less vulnerable than they really are. And that typically only ever comes with age and experience, to just be like, no, of course. Like, I'm going to cry. I'm going to be sad. Yeah, I fought with my girlfriend, my wife, like you just have more real, honest conversations. You're just more willing to be vulnerable and more authentic. And I think he showed the younger guys, bro, you could be authentic from the jump. Like, we're just here. We're trying to ball. We're trying to be great. We're going to put in the work. We're going to be fun. We're going to be cheesy. We're going to be goofy. We're going to sing songs. Like, we're going to do whatever we want because we're human. And I think that is such an underrated aspect and importance of the Philadelphia Eagles team. You see it with Mailata. You see it with Saquon. You see it with AJ. You see it with Slay. You see it. And someone like a Fangio is not going to bring that, because Fangio is like all about the business. And so he needs someone like a Darius Slay to kind of, balance that out a little bit. And I just think that the maturity and the authenticity that Darius Slay brought and showed the way, I think is really important. And that's why it depends on who else do they have to kind of continue this. Bond, I think, brought that as well, but it came from a slightly different side, because he was kind of like having to kind of like reprove himself, or really kind of just prove himself just in general, right? And he'll now be able to continue that if he's continuing to be with the Philadelphia Eagles. Cooper DeJean, Mitchell, etc. Like, you have some of these other voices that are still developing their voices. And like I said, when you're younger and you're going to a team, especially you're surrounded by guys that have been there for a while, they have experience, they've either won more than you, reached higher levels. Like, there's so much more pretending that goes on than I think people really understand. I mean, especially when you first get to a team, even just the first few years of just your career as a whole, there's so much pretending. And the sooner you can get to your authentic self, the better. And as long as your authentic self is genuine, grounded, humble, earnest, it's like, that's what you want. You run into the problem when people are being authentic and honest and they're kind of jerks. Or they think they need to be stronger or tougher than they are. They can't show vulnerability. Like, all of that stuff really, really matters so much, which is actually kind of perfect. That to start off this take, we have someone who started off this take being kind of like, I got to really stick out my chest and let everyone know who I am. And it's like, all right, bro, you've been on TV now for a while. Let it go. You did not have this amazing, prolific career. Let it go. Figure out what else you offer to the fans, to the media landscape outside of your extensive background, because you have other people, someone who's sitting right next to you that has more experience in that regard. It's not to say that your experience is nothing, but you don't got to remind everyone. I watch quarterbacks, I watch all these other people, again, whether it's Drew Brees, Tom Brady, whatever, none of them say those types of comments. None of them. From the people who've only played D1 and never made it to the pros, to the guys who were quarterbacks and were just backup quarterbacks and played, one starting snap, to the guys who have won multiple Super Bowls and are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Never hear them make those types of comments. Ever. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And the only time they bring it up is if it makes pure sense, if it makes actual sense. Well, I remember when I was playing, we had a problem with this wide receiver, and it really derailed the culture, and we could see that it really actually split the locker. Like, okay, that makes sense. That actually makes sense. That's an authentic story. That's someone speaking their truth, not trying to pretend to be more grandiose. I don't know if anyone else in the media can say that. Whoa, okay, everyone stop. Everyone listen. What do you have to say? What do you have to say? Okay, tell me. Tell me, what was it like on the Philadelphia Eagles 2 decades ago? Tell me. I'm listening. Please tell me. Gosh. I don't know. See, that's why I struggle to do facility clips, because it's really the only show that I struggle to actually be like, nice isn't the right word, but it's too hard for me to just focus on the takes. Like even Nick Ray, First Things First, you know, and you know, NFL Live, any of these other takes from any of these other people, I can just focus on the take itself. But with this show, it's just, I don't know. Because I was like, oh, you know what? It's the off season. Let's see what the facility has to offer. I just genuinely struggle with it. I really, really do. So I'm going to try my best to just focus on the take. But when they open up the take with something that goes beyond the take, that becomes part of the take then. So I'm forced to deal with it. I'm forced to react with it. If he just started off and just talked about just what this means for the Philadelphia Eagles today, then boom, I could just focus on that. But then even when he's talking, they're just having all the background noises. Yep. Like even that stuff, I'm just like, oh, just stop. Stop. So I don't know. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles moving on from Darius Slay? Is this a big deal or no deal, little deal? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.